Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 summer palettes this season. As per usual, I have a little bit of new, a little bit of old, a little bit of classic in the mix because I like to use all of my makeup collection, not just what's new and trending. At the beginning of these videos I always tell you how I'm feeling about the makeup I am wearing and what my vision for the season is. And I gotta say, my makeup this summer has been simplistic. That is the vision. I always like a little bit of sparkle on the eyelid, but what I mean by simplistic is I haven't been going for the super smoky, overly dark, sultry types of looks. I've been going for the 2 to 3 eyeshadows max types of looks. The spring vibes were definitely light colorful with shimmer, and the summer vibes have been light bronzy with shimmer, kind of like what I'm wearing today. And I'm going to show you my top 10 palette options to create the looks that I am going for. As per usual, every single palette I'm talking about in today's video is listed and linked down below in the description box. With some of these brands I have discount codes like Natasha Denona. You can use the code PATTY15 at the Natasha Denona website to get a 15% off of your purchase, or Fantasy Cosmetica, which I'll also talk about, where you can get a 10% off their website with code PATTY10. All of my links are down below, everything I'm wearing on my face down below, all of the discount codes down below in the description box as well, so definitely check it out. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. The first palette I want to talk to you about is the newest palette in this 10 palette collection, and that is the palette that I am wearing in today's video. This is my second time wearing this palette. I did also do a short video with this one that I uploaded a couple of days ago, and I also really loved that look. I am talking about the new Fantasy Cosmetica Fighter palette. Fantasy Cosmetica is a very small indie brand. They have a total of like 5 palettes. They've been dabbing into some fragrances as well, and I gotta say, ever since they came out, I was lucky enough to be in their PR list from the first palette. Ever since they launched, they have been having consistent, beautiful palettes that have great pigmentation and amazing formulas. But I gotta also say that with each release I find that their formulas get better. From the beginning I always loved their shimmers, but now their mattes I feel like are creamier than ever. So here's what the inside of the Fighter palette looks like. You will see the look I am wearing on my face today on my channel in a couple of days in an upcoming Let's Get Glam video. This palette, I have the feeling that it's going to sell out as soon as it comes out. It comes out July 20th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're interested, definitely be on their website when it launches, because this is their first more natural palette, the first palette that isn't super full of bright or intense colors, and so I feel like this is going to be popular. Anyways, let me show you some of the shades I love most about this palette. I'm wearing this color Cavalier right here on the crease of my eye right now, which I absolutely love, and the color Glory is the color on the inner corner of my eyelid, which also is very special to me, and one of the shades I love most, the color Victory, I have in the center of my eyelid. And I also really love this neutral matte brown right here. So take a look right here at how stunning these formulas are, and you can see, I'm just going to do a little swatch right there. You can see that these are very creamy, very pigmented. I can tell you that they are blendable shades. I have not had much trouble blending these shades into one another at all. Today I put the lighter gray shade, and then I built this matte brown on the outer corner of the eye, and I was like, this warm brown situation into this very cool tone gray, like I wasn't sure if it was going to mix well, but as you can see, the look works. I love the way my eyeshadow looks today, and this is a fantastic palette to have, not just for the summertime. I feel like it's also a really good introduction into the fall season with the warmer shades that it has. I absolutely Love it, and I highly recommend it. Remember, you can save 10% with my code PATTY10 with this one. And also, let me go ahead and show you the swatches of the palette. I just did these swatches for my Let's Get Glam video, but I can put them in here so you can see how truly beautiful these shades are. Moving on to another palette that I absolutely love for summertime, and one that is very a couple of steps and done palette to me, the Major Dimensions 2 palette from Patrick Cosmetics. You can take a look right here at what this palette looks like. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you, even though I'm putting the entire palette in this video because I have to. I'm using these shades right here. These are where my vibe is at this time of year, and more specifically, I'm literally grabbing the matte shade for the crease and the shimmer shade for the center of the eyelid and inner corner, and I'm done. That's the look right there. A little bit of eyeliner, a little bit of mascara, and I am done with the look. I'm not complicating things. I'm not building up the crease. I'm not doing any of that. The most I have done is grabbed for the lightest of the cream shades to intensify things if I want to, or sometimes I use it as a transition shade in the case of the darker matte like this one, but that is it. Very light, to the point type of quick looks is what I have been going for, and this palette is perfect for that. So let me go ahead and show you the swatches of the shades that I have been using the most. You can take a look right here at the 3 mattes and the 3 shimmers, and you can see why I've been loving these types of looks. Like, imagine having this matte on the crease blended out and just having one of these shimmers in the center of the eyelid. Same thing with this one if I want an even lighter look. Just this matte and one of the shimmers, and then this one I use as a base or sometimes to like blend out one of the other mattes. It is honestly the easiest thing to do, and when it comes to summer looks this year specifically, I just haven't been wanting to do the most, which is weird for me because I usually want to do the most when it comes to eyeshadow. I've just been into the very light and simple type of looks, and this Major Dimensions palette from Patrick allows me to do that very, very easily. So obviously I love it. I highly recommend it. Another palette, and this is one of the newer ones that allows me to do those types of looks so easily, is this one right here. This is the Cosmos palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and here's what the inside of this palette looks like. I not only reviewed this palette recently and did 2 looks in my review video, but I also did a 5 looks 1 palette with this one. Now, whenever I do those types of videos, I usually try to create looks that aren't 2 shades and done, right? Because that would be too easy. I usually try to make them a bit more glamorous than that. However, when it comes to like practicality and what I'm actually doing with this palette, I am staying right here where you see, in fact, not even that shade. These are the 7 shades that I am constantly using this summer season from the Cosmos palette right here, because once again, they are easy shades to use. I just realized I was covering this shade right here, and this is one of the ones that I use a lot too. So let me just show you my 6 favorite shades from this palette, which of course include the 3 mattes and these 3 shimmers right here: Quasar, Supernova, and Super Cluster. So I've been using this matte right here on the crease of the eye and intensifying that with either one of these mattes, and then just popping one of these duochrome shades right here all over the eyelid area of my eye. And that right there is my summer look. It doesn't get easier than that. Super simple, very, very beautiful. And one thing that all of these palettes will have in common is that they all have amazing shimmers, because I absolutely love a good quality shimmer shade for all over the eyelid. At this point, it can't just be a regular shimmer shade. It has to be a duochrome shade, or it has to have some sparkle in order for me to like be into it. And so those are the types of shimmers that all of these palettes have, which is one of the reasons that I absolutely love these palettes and their formulas. So if you haven't gotten your hands on this Cosmos palette right here from Anastasia yet, I think it is one of the best ones that they've released. Actually, I think it's the best one that they've released since they've been doing the like relaunch of their brand, since they changed the format of their palette. This is the best one they have done, hands down. I really love it and I cannot seem to put it down. Another palette that I think has been perfect for me this summer season is this one from Natasha Denona. This is the Retro Glam palette right here, and I truly cannot remember right now if this was a palette that I put in my spring palettes video. I tried not to do the same palettes in this one that I did in that one, even though a couple of them kind of overlap. But I couldn't not put the Glam Retro palette in my summer top palettes video because I have been reaching for this one quite a bit. And once again, I've been doing it for the very basic shades. I have not been overcomplicating my looks at all. So from this one, I love the shade Belle. I love the shade Sage right here. These make for really fun transition crease shades that add a little bit of depth and a little bit of dimension. They blend out very easily and you don't have to like do much too. And I also really like the shade Faye right here. This sagey green grayish type matte shade also love. And then in the center of the eyelid, these are the shimmers I've been going for, which are Flutter, Palladian, or the shade Marlin right there, because they're the ones that are a bit more potent from this palette. I don't know why I didn't put anything on my middle finger. This is gonna be hard. All right, so these are the 6 shades right here that I have been going for, kind of similarly to the Anastasia Cosmos palette. I just grabbed one of the matte shades depending on the day, put it all over the crease of the eye, and then one of these shimmers, also depending on the day, all over the eyelid area. And I just love my life because they create some really stunning, very simple, time-saving looks, and I've just been very into those this summer. If you need inspiration with this palette though, I do also have a video where I reviewed it and I created a couple of looks, and then I have a separate video where I did a 5 looks, 1 palette with this one. I love doing looks videos whenever I get a new palette, so you definitely have looks on my channel with pretty much every single palette I'm going to tell you about, I think except for one. Moving on to the last big palette of the summer for me, and it is a Pat McGrath Mothership palette, and I'm not sure if you'll guess which one. The Pat McGrath palette that I have been loving recently is this one here. This is Pat McGrath Mothership number 3, which has definitely always been one of my favorites, and it's one of the ones that isn't overly pink. So during the springtime, I was definitely loving the pastel pink shades, but now I'm more so into this type of vibe right here. However, I told you I'm not overcomplicating things this summer, so I have been using only 4 shades from this palette, one of which is a matte. So this brown color right here is one of my favorite Pat McGrath brown shades in her whole line, because it is a pigmented, intense brown type shade, but it also blends out beautifully into a transition like color that you can put all over the crease of your eye. So I have been using, of course, this matte on the crease, and then I pair it with one of the following 3 shimmers, or a couple of them combined sometimes, and that is it. That is the look right there. Of course, the shimmers are Astro Blitz shades, and they are these 3 down here. Here's what they swatch like on the tip of my finger. Just a perfect combination in my opinion. If I want to do something a bit smokier, a bit more evening, I go for this matte right here. Otherwise, these shimmers here are perfect. This one always in the inner corner of the eye, using only this brown matte on the crease, and the look is always perfection. Always beautiful, always glamorous, and for the most part when I'm using only these colors, also a very simple look to do. If you want more look ideas with this palette, I also have a 5 looks 1 palette with it. However, these are not the looks that I'm going for right now. I'm telling you, I've only been using those 4 shades and I have been loving my life. I don't know what it is about this summer, but I am keeping things very simple. Or simple for me, I should say. This is the outside box of Mothership number 3, if you wanted to look at it. I usually recognize my Mothership palettes by the outside box, so there you go. And it is time to get into the minis. I think the first one I want to talk about is the one that I haven't made content with here on my channel, but I have used this one 1,000 times because I used to use this one at work all the time. So not only would I put it on me, but I would put it on like everyone. At the time, this was my favorite Tilbury quad. I think I have a new favorite that has come out since, but this one is the perfect one for the summer and the easy, simple vibes that I'm going for right now, and that is the Tilbury Exaggerize palette right here. This palette might probably look simple and boring to you, but when I tell you, it is not. The matte shade in this palette is what makes this palette special, because it is, even though it looks kind of normal, it is a really nice and intense and pigmented matte shade that can create a lot of dimension on your eye. So I love using this shade all throughout the crease because it builds up to a color kind of similar to my outer corner color right now, but it blends out into nothingness. And then with these shimmer colors, you can create a lot more dimension all throughout the eye area. Take a look right here at what the swatches look like. See how this matte color is really nice and intense, but then you can also blend it out so freaking easily. It is a fantastic, fantastic crease color. And then you can get either one of these shimmers right here to build a really nice amount of intensity to the eyelid area, and top it up with some sparkle, of course, and you'll have a really beautiful Charlotte Tilbury-esque type of look. Anyways, Exaggerize, if you have not checked it out, is a fantastic quad from Charlotte. This is probably one of my top 3 Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow quads of all time right here, so obviously I highly recommend it. Another little palette I've totally been obsessing over this season is this one right here from Natasha Denona. This is the mini bronze palette from Natasha, and if you like warm summer vibes, this right here is a fantastic palette. I love the shimmer shade that this palette has. It's nice, it's intense, it gives a lot of warmth to the eye area, and I also really, really love these 3 mattes right here. From this 5-pan palette, these 4 are my favorite shades and the ones that I have been reaching for the most. In particular, these 3 right here. Like if I want a bit more intensity, I'll go in with the brown burgundy type shade. But because I've been keeping things so light and so casual, these are the shades that really interests me about this palette. I really love a mustardy mid-tone color on the crease of my eye, and that is exactly what this one is. Pop this one in the center of the eyelid, this one to blend out that mustard if you need to. Perfection. This combination gives you the perfect soft, warm, summery vibes type look, and I absolutely love it. This next one is another mini from Natasha Denona, but in this case, this is my all-time favorite mini from Natasha Denona. I recommend this one every chance I get because I truly think it is the perfect little palette. You guessed it, the shades I've been going for, the ones on the left right there, these are the 4. Just take a look right here at how beautiful these shades swatch. And this palette, I don't even have to think about it. I have my crease shade, I can intensify it a little bit, and I usually do. And then I grab this one for the center of the eyelid, or this one for the center of the eyelid, in which case I put this one on the inner corner, and that is it. That is always the look, and I always end up loving it. This palette has the prettiest, most perfect neutral matte shades for the crease of the eye. I absolutely love these with a passion, and then you can always make the look pop with these shimmers right here. It is easy, it is simple, it is perfect if you're going anywhere on vacation as well, by the way. I really love this one. It's proven to be my most favorite, but also my most used mini from Natasha Denona. It is fantastic. If you're counting down with me, only 2 more palettes to go. Both of them minis, both of them Pat McGrath quads to be specific. The first one I'm going to talk about is one that I've been loving. Mostly I think because it's a new palette that is summery, but also because I honestly really like it. I definitely do not regret getting this one, even though it doesn't have the special shade that I was hoping for. I'm talking about the Pat McGrath Luxe Eyeshadow Quad in Passion Fleur right here. Now the main reason I love this one has to be this absolutely stunning, pigmented, beautiful matte shade. It is just such an incredible color, and I know that this is not a light shade, but I promise you this is a Pat McGrath color that can be blended out so easily, and I love that I can get a bit of dimension with this one on the outer corner of the eye for a bit of a smoky type of effect. It is such a perfect color. And then once you have this shade down on the outer corner and crease of your eye, you can combine it with any of these shimmer shades right here, and whatever combination of shimmers you do with this matte color, is going to give you a fantastic, beautiful, sultry, romantic type summer look, and I love it. When I first tried this palette, I did a look where I combined all 4 of the shades, which I thought was beautiful. And then since every time I've used it, because I've been simplifying things a bit, I use these 3 shades. And I really, really love the results. I always, of course, love Pat McGrath and her formulas. I was a bit disappointed that this palette had regular shimmers and nothing super sparkly or duochromy or special, but still, they are very shiny, and every time I have worn this palette, I like the look that I get. So I like it and I recommend it, but don't buy it full price because this is bound to go on sale hopefully soon. Last but certainly not least, the Pat McGrath quad of the season. I'm talking about this beauty right here. This is the Divine Bronze Luxe Quad in Venusian Sunrise. This one, as you can see, does have a special sparkly shade, and that is why I love it. If you ask me between this one and the one I just mentioned, I would say this one, because this has become one of my top quads from Pat McGrath and the one that I've been reaching for the most this season, actually ever since I got it. I've been reaching for this palette since it came out in the middle of spring. I did an April summer bronzy look because of it. Anyways, obviously this palette has the creamiest, most pigmented matte shades. They look beautiful on, they combine beautifully, and it has a nice basic inner corner shade right here, or you can also put it all over the eyelid if you don't feel like doing the sparkle. I always go for the sparkle though. So the look I've been doing most is the look I showed you in that bronzy look I did in the middle of spring, which is the one where I don't use the dark shade at all. I just use these 3 colors right here, and I love my life because it is easy, it is simple, it is elegant, it is sparkly. It's a fantastic summery bronze look that I could not possibly recommend enough, and I feel like this quad right here and this type of look is what molded my whole summer mood. It's what molded me wanting to just do less with my eyeshadow this summer. I think the reason I've been going for the more minimal eyeshadow looks is because it's hot out. I've been doing my complexion very lightweight and very natural. I have been using very lightweight products on my face. I've been using my skin tints a lot. My freckles can show through my makeup, and so I don't want to overdo it when it comes to the makeup. So I think something that pairs very well with that type of complexion I've been doing is a light eyeshadow look, and so that is what I have been going for, the bronzy light eyeshadow look, and I have totally been loving it. Please let me know down in the comment section below which one has been your go-to palette this summer, or if you have multiple ones, let me know down in the comment section. Remember, if you want to get your hands on any of my favorites, please buy it using the links I'm leaving you down below in the description box, or the discount codes, which you can also find down there. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching today's video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I hope to see you back in the next one. Bye.